Hello there, fellow actors. My name is Monica Garcia, and this is my lovely friend Michelle Tomlinson. She is an acting coach, a working actress, and a filmmaker. She is a badass fellow chingona like myself. You know that word, Michelle?
Oh, yeah, girl. I love you.
And we're here once a week. Today is the fourth episode that we are doing. And we just want to help fellow actors out there that are navigating these waters of acting and figuring out our careers. You know, we both coach and teach and share and work and create. And, I sometimes get so jealous of my students because I'll share with them certain things that took me years to learn. And I'm able to share it. And I was like, wow, I wish I had somebody tell me this at the beginning of my process. But, you know, it's part of the fun of learning and growing. How do you feel about that, Michelle? Do you feel how lucky your students are to benefit from your blood, sweat, and tears?
From my professional driving straight into potholes, yes. Absolutely. There's just so many little things, that you can only really learn by experiencing and then turn around and share it, and hope that whoever you share it with heeds that moment and goes, I'm going to avoid that pothole. Can only share the information.
Yeah, we have to learn the hard way most of the time. So, yeah. So today, I wanted to ask you, Michelle, what do you think the top 3 tips that you would give actors about self-taping? I mean, there are so many about auditioning, but right now, in the world of self-taping, what are your top 3 tips?
Top 3. Okay, I'm trying to narrow it down. It's like my brain just hopped on the 405 at 4 p.m. on a Friday. So I'm like, okay, brain, let's get to the top 3. Well, the biggest one, and I'm going to kind of clump a little, is framing, sound, and lighting. Mm-hmm. The how to get the tape, the technical parts, and if we live somewhere where we can go and have somebody else tape it who has their finger on the pulse of how to execute a self-tape, then that's fantastic. But a lot of people don't have the that support to be able to do it, the availability, and so doing it at home has turned everybody into filmmakers. So the toppest thing would be those elements: the lighting, the sound, and the framing. If you're like this, trying to do a self-tape and it's dark, it's not going to work out for you. So those are 3 big things lumped into one. And really, you have to be so insanely even more on top, I think, of your audition process. Because with the self-tape, what it has enabled is millions of actors to get 7,000 takes before they feel that this take is just right because their hair did a thing, or their lip did a thing, or their eyes did a thing, or they were standing, all these external things that have very little to do with character work. And so being able to really be on top of your audition game and how you're approaching your actual audition game to nail your self-tape within the first 1 to 3 takes is a really helpful tool to continue to keep treating your self-tapes as though they're the live audition, even though they're not. You're in your living room or whatever. Keep treating it as that live audition, because when those live auditions, they're trickling in here and there a little bit, but if and when we pick straight up into that world again, we need to be ready for that moment that we are actually going to be in the room again. I mean, I don't know about you, Monica, but I have clients who have only been in the audition room maybe once, maybe twice so far. And so the idea of self-tape is like a luxury that we never had before. So being really sharp, please stop, honey. Being really sharp with your approach is another thing, and including being off book and all the things. And then getting your audition tape in on time and not asking for extensions every single time a self-tape comes in. Auditions don't happen when we're like chilling and Netflixing, you know what I'm saying? Like when they're middle of watching The Punisher for the fourth time, we're not going to suddenly be like, oh, an audition, easy. They come. We're in the middle of life and life is happening and we work and we do the things and your parents are not parent, we all have these busy, beautiful lives, and an audition comes in, we got to be like, yeah, let's jump on it. But they don't come when it's good for you or convenient for you. They come when they're meant to come. And so consistently asking for extensions with auditions, I tend to see the extension requesters tend to book a little bit less than the people who just get to work, get it done, get it shot, get it in, let it go, move on to the next. I'm not saying to do it in a rush. It's not the thing. Just get it done.
Yeah. Yes.
How about you?
Yeah.
All of that. Yeah.
How
about you, Monica?
So I have to change my 3 because you're right where I'm at about, advice for these self-tapes. But, sometimes somebody already has a callback or has reached out by the time you sent yours in because you're waiting for the deadline to send it in rather than getting the thing, just doing it and sending it right away instead of, oh, I have until Monday, I have all weekend. When you get it on Friday, it's due Monday. It's like, no, if you were going into the office, you get an audition in the morning, you have to be there this afternoon. Make it like that. We're getting into a lot of bad habits of taking a lot of takes and using props that you normally wouldn't use because you can't take those into an audition. So we're giving ourselves a lot of luxuries at home of many takes, props and things like, no, what would you do if you were really in the room? And I do have students who haven't even been in an audition yet, brand new students that have studied and, don't know even what it's like to have classmates. I have new students that started with me during the pandemic and, they're all comfy in their living room doing their work. And I'm like, what if you were in the classroom with all of these people in person? Like, he's like, oh, you could tell he was already feeling the nervousness, like, oh, imagine you're going into a room and there's a really famous actor directing that episode that you really, really like. And you go, oh my God, that's so-and-so. And then you're like, oh, and he's like, yeah, that's what you're going to have to deal with and feel and navigate through. So yeah, 1, don't take a lot of takes for your self-tape. 2, don't use props. And 3, get it in as soon as you can. Don't wait for the deadline. Those are my 3.
Yeah. Amen, sister. I'm not surprised at all that we're on the same page as that. I mean, that's what brought us here, right. to do this. So, yeah, getting it on time is so key. I see a lot of casting directors post on the social media talking about, guys, like, get it in before the deadline, get it in before the deadline. So we're not the only ones saying, get it in before the deadline.
Or don't, and you can go, what? I did a thing recently, took a lot of work, a lot of effort. They wanted a lot. They asked a lot, right? So I send it. I'm having a hard time sending it through WeTransfer. Like, it's not going, it's loading, and then it stops like at 67%, and then it won't go. So, a lot of patience, a lot of like, why isn't this sending? So I finally send it. And then a couple days later, it's like that message where it hasn't been opened yet and it's about to expire. They never even opened it. I was like,
I know how that feels. Yeah. And it's like you get to go in the audition space. You like, I went in, I did it, I walked away. But that WeTransfer.
But I was wondering because it took me a little bit longer to send it. Like, it literally took most of the day Like it was
I
should have
believe
gone
it.
in earlier. I'm wondering if like, yeah, they already picked their person and they didn't even bother moving on.
Could have. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that anything possible, but gosh, sister, have I been there? Yeah, anybody watching this, I bet you've been there too. It's the best feeling ever, said nobody.
Right, right. Also, I was wondering if you had an opinion about what do you think the best style of acting is? Like method, Meisner, Stella Adler technique, if you Uta Hagen, like what do you think is the best style of acting for actors?
For actors across the board, I have like what I love and what resonates with me. For actors across the board, it is literally whatever resonates with you.
You, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It is the thing, pick a lane and kind of figure it out. And you can take from a lot of different styles. You could take classes and sessions and things with all kinds of different teachers who teach different styles and, find the thing that works for you. I know somebody, he's fantastic. He's been doing theater, primarily theater for like, oh man, probably 25 years and does some television and stuff. And he legit took like, here's what works for me from Adler. Here's what works for me from Meisner. Here's what works for me with, and he just, Strasberg or whatever, he was just kind of taking what worked for him, put it in him. And he's like working all the time in one shape or form or another. I don't know if this dude ever doesn't have a script in his hand. So that's what works for him. So I do blanket statement say, do what works best for you. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of substitution. I'm not a fan of repeating something 475 times until I feel it in my body. Those aren't things that do well for me. Imagination does well for me. Knowing what I'm doing and how I'm feeling and like what's really going on underneath the dialogue. My friend Amy teaches a lot with the Linden technique, and she talks about subtext, and subtext is a thing that works really well with me and that I pass on to my clients also, because it's also very Adler based, where Adler talks about improving, a scene and improving the scene before you start memorizing dialogue. And so it's, going into subtext of what it is you're really saying. So a lot of script analysis and imagination and surrender to character and circumstances are the things that are like my personal building tools for me that I like to pass on to actors. But it is literally whatever works best for you.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Monica?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. You look at every successful actor, everybody works a different way.
Yeah.
There's not one way to do this. As much as I love my way of doing it, I want everyone to work with their imagination and not use ugly things from their past or try to recall. Like that just makes me personally uncomfortable, but it works. It works for other people that it works for, and it's exactly what you said. What you immediately said, I use what resonates with me, and that's what everyone needs to find for themselves. What resonates with you that you can somehow your mind just like, yes, that's the thing. This is what I understand. This is what will help me emotionally and fully be able to understand and express and do all the things that we do. And it might not be what I do, but it is what you do and what the next person feels comfortable with. And I think too, a lot of it is a lot of little pieces that we picked up here and there from other teachers. And what works for you? Absolutely, that is the best way. The best style of acting is what works best for you, personally.
Definitely, yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and we support that in the actors. It's a really interesting thing, and you've probably experienced this where teachers will say there is only this way. There is only this way, and when somebody says that, it really has the ability to instill a lot of fear and a lot of shame into the actors, into the artists who are trying to find their way. And I just using fear and shame, to me, that's not how I parent. That's not how I coach. That's not, I don't know. Like, those are pretty big weapons to be using against people for your own gain. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the best thing that I'll do when I'm teaching, because I teach the Stella Adler technique, is I ask them, while you're with me, just try it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really want you to take the benefits of learning this fully from what I have to offer. You can always do whatever you want when you leave, but while you're with me learning the technique, just give it everything you have. Try it 100% this way, and then we'll see.
Absolutely.
From you,
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're studying whatever you're studying, give it your all, and then you can decide what works and what doesn't work for you. But you never know. Like, I don't think I want to try that, and then it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did. Like, it's the best thing for me.
Totally, dude. If you half-ass anything, you just get half-assed results. I mean, with anything, car mechanic, carpenter, actor, like, it doesn't matter. If you half-ass it, you're just going to get half-assed results.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Something business-wise that I love talking about with my clients and kind of helping them through it. We are emotional people. We are highly emotional people. We're sensitive. We're all these things. And we really want our representatives to hear everything we say. And by God, we want our reps to hear it. We want anybody we work with. Like, we just want to be heard. I love talking about creating a 3-sentence email. So, Monica, when an actor comes to you and says, I need to send my agent or my manager or my whomever an email that is 750 lines long, what what do you, because I know what I say, but what do you say? I want to hear what you say first, other than, oh, do I have to read this whole thing? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's what acting coaches are for. Like, let's talk about this. Let's talk through this. Let's what's on your mind? What are you feeling? What do you think? Agents, and it depends. I think it depends on your relationship with your agent, but I have a really great relationship with my agent. We go out, we socialize, and we have a lot in the past, but I would never do that because he's a busy man. I respect his time, and it's a business. This is called show business. Like, it's a business. Like, you don't if you have something, like, talk about it with them while you have them on the phone. But they don't have time to coddle me. At my age, he doesn't have time to coddle me, or like, I become a nuisance. I become high maintenance, and then he's going to want to avoid me, and then it's just it's part of, like, I feel, for me, it's part of, like, if I become a needy actor, I'm going to reach out to my agent, and, like, that's a part of the business that is his job. For me, is to send me up. He's not responsible for my feelings, or to talk me through anything. I mean, yeah, I guess it could, but I just don't think that's the best use of an agent's time. And I think I want to talk to my fellow actor friends, people that are working, people that are successful, my acting coaches, about some grievances that I have, or concerns, or something I want to air. If your agent, you feel, isn't working for you and they're not sending you out, figure out, maybe it's your headshots. Maybe your auditioning skills need to have some looking at, some coaching. And but if your agent isn't working for you, then go find a new agent. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea to send a really long email to the agent for, I mean, really, what are you trying to get? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you have questions, I'm going to go in a hypothetical. If you have questions like, I'm not getting auditions, as you're talking about, like, okay, so I'm not getting auditions, and I'm going to write to my agent and I'm going to say, Dear Monica, Dear Monica, you're my agent, and I'm feeling really frustrated these days. You have no idea how busy I've been. I've been working and doing all of these things, and I've been taking all of these classes, and I'm feeling really frustrated. I'm feeling really stuck, and I just feel like I'm not gaining any ground or any traction, and I don't know what's wrong. Is it you? Is it me? Like, I'm feeling really frustrated right now with my career, and you're just not getting me out. What's going on? Okay, right? Like, I've dealt with this a million times because like anybody, any actor, I've worked with so many agents and so many managers, and there's always those moments where you go, oh, what is going on? Instead of sending this monolithic insanity, yeah, I just said it, insanity, but not judgy, maybe a little judgy, insanity. Like we're reaching out expecting somebody else to, and you nailed it, Monica, be responsible for our feelings, to be responsible for where we are. If you're not getting out, hey, I'm just going to use you as my agent. Hey, Monica, are there additional headshot looks you think my package is lacking? I'm going to update them. If you have input, I'd love to hear it. 3 sentences or less. You do not, like, the world does not, I don't have time to read 700 long
You can
emails.
write that email. You can write that long email, but don't send
yes, it. Yes, and then trim it. Send it to somebody. Send it to somebody like your friend, your therapist, your acting coach, your, somebody who's on your side in all of this, who can really help you go, okay, so I see that you're frustrated, you're not getting auditions. Have you taken a look at your acting package? Have you taken a look at those headshots? You nailed it, Monica. That's exactly it. And so much of the time, agents, their whole gig, dude, is to get auditions for you and to, seal the deal when you book it. Their job is not to hold hands. They are busy humans, and a lot of agents usually have a ton of clients. So if you have an agent, let's just say, like something really crazy, 900 clients, and all 900 of those clients email that agent throughout the week, these monolithic emails, that agent then is so bogged down that they have no time to be submitting their people and trying to help them get work. So it's gaining perspective on what your needs are, what your wants are, and how to deliver that through looking at yourself, saying, how can I participate in getting more auditions? How can I be part of the solution instead of reaching out and attacking everybody else for my misconception of whether or not they're doing their job? They're doing their job. Mm-hmm. That's why they're not responding to your 700-page emails, because they're busy doing their job. So get busy with love and respect. Get busy doing your job.
Yeah.
And everything you listed, or how's my audition approach? What have I been going out on, that I'm not hitting? What is it that I need to kind of work on a little bit? Where's my disconnect? And work on those things before sending a really long, frustrated email.
I get
Look
it.
at yourself.
Yeah, I get it. And like I said, you should write it. Get it out. You have to get it out because you're feeling
totally
so frustrated. But don't send it to the agent. And then figure out, okay, this is how I'm feeling. What really am I saying? Let me boil it down. What do I need? Mm-hmm. I need to figure out why I'm not being sent. And is it because they're not sending me? Chances are they are. Something's not working. So maybe the agent, because they have so many clients and are so busy, don't forget to say, they'll look at our headshot when they're sending this out going, oh, they should probably update those, or that doesn't look like them anymore. This doesn't give the essence of this role. And I think they're right for it. So maybe, hey, you can just that little reach out. Any suggestions why you think I'm not going out? You think it's headshots, or any advice, any suggestions? Any suggestions?
Yeah. Any suggestions? I'm open to suggestions. Yeah, it is really that. And it's when you communicate and allow our reps are amazing, man. I mean, I love my agent. I love my manager. I love my people so much. And if you scoot out of the way and allow them to be part of the solution, then everybody goes up with empowerment versus steamrolling due to an emotional thing you're having with a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Michelle, I'm going to put up your contact information. Let's see if I can get mine right this week.
I wasn't going to say anything, dude. I wasn't going to say anything.
If you'd like to contact Michelle, that's her email address, not her email address, her website,
My website.
michelletomlinson.net. Right. I can put it up right, but not say it right this time. And this is my contact at actingartists.com. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And Michelle and I will be here next week with 3 more questions. And if you have any, send them to us and we will answer them here. Michelle?
Yeah. Monica.
Any last words?
I'm just happy to be here.
Awesome. I'm happy you're here.
I'm happy you're here.
Here with you.
Oh, snap. Yeah. All right, girl.
We'll
Thanks.
see you next week. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.